Hey everybody, welcome back to the Caregivers Collective, where we hold space for the real, the raw, and the resilient. You know me, I'm your host, Tangela. I'm not only a caregiver, I'm an encourager, and I'm a fellow traveler on this journey of showing up for people that we love. So today's episode tackles a question that many of us ask silently. Am I doing this right? Today we're talking about imposter syndrome, what it looks like for caregivers, how it sneaks into our daily routines, and how to confront it with truth, grace, and courage. Maybe you think you know what imposter syndrome is. Maybe you're just wondering, what is it? Imposter syndrome is that nagging voice that says, you're not good enough, or you're going to mess things up, or somebody else would be better at this. It's that constant doubting of your decisions, of your instincts, and even your heart. For caregivers, imposter syndrome sounds like, I didn't go to school for this. Or maybe, I don't know what I'm doing. Or maybe somebody has said, I lost my patience today. What kind of caregiver am I? Well, let's be clear. Imposter syndrome does not mean that you're weak or unqualified. It simply means that you care deeply. It means that the role matters to you so much that you're afraid of messing up. You're afraid of getting it wrong. Let's look at some practical signs that you might be feeling like you're an imposter. Maybe you are one who over-prepares or second and third guess everything. Maybe you're afraid to make decisions about medications, about appointments, or even meals without triple checking. Maybe you're the one who has difficulty accepting compliments. Somebody says, hey, you're doing a great job. And your reply is, oh, I could be doing better. Maybe you're the one who's downplaying your efforts. You say things like, I'm just a caregiver, as if what you do is not heroic already. Then there are those who compare themselves to others. You see another caregiver who seems to have it all together and you think, I'm failing. Sound familiar? You're not alone. I can tell you that there are a couple of things in that list that maybe I have a problem with. However, the one that I do not have a problem with is comparing myself to others, because what I do know is that my situation is nothing like the next person's situation. Let me clarify that. When I say nothing like, my family dynamics is different. How I was raised was different. It may not be the same as yours. I had to learn quickly not to compare my situation to others. Also, I don't have enough time in a day to focus in that area of comparing myself to others. Downplaying my efforts, yeah, that's kind of part of who I am. Difficulty accepting compliments, yeah, I've always had that issue. But comparing myself to others, nah. Over-preparing and second-guessing, I don't have that problem either. You know why? Because I'm a greatest procrastinator. Having time to second and third guess, and I don't have time for that. Because by the time it's time to get done, I should have already had it done. So let's go ahead and get it done. Let's talk about what a certain situation might look like. Think about it. Maybe you're raising a child with autism. You cry in the car before therapy appointments, feeling like everything's wrong. But did you know that showing up is doing the right thing? Did you know that the way that you care, the tears that you cry, is still love in action? Maybe you're caring for an aging mother with Alzheimer's, like me. But you often feel like an imposter because you lost your temper more than once. Maybe you're worried that you're ruining everything. But then you remember that being human does not disqualify you. It grounds you. It helps you to be settled. Your ability to reflect and repair those moments may just mean that you're a deeply empathetic caregiver. And here's the truth. No one's doing this perfectly. Certainly not me. So we're all learning as we go. But before we can handle and tackle this idea of imposter syndrome, let's look at some root causes. Let's discuss where this idea of being an imposter comes from. Imposter syndrome is usually rooted in a few things, such as unrealistic expectations, perfectionism. It's rooted in lack of representation or support, cultural or family pressures. Caregivers often carry the unspoken rule that we have to be strong all the time. We're somehow made to believe that if we struggle, we're failing. But that's a lie, because struggling is part of the caregiving. And struggling doesn't make you fake, it makes you very much real. So what do you have to do? We have to reframe the lie. And as a preacher and a minister, what I've often understood and learned is that the devil comes against us. If you're a believer, you know that the devil comes against you in things that you're trying to do well. And he puts these ideas and thoughts in your head and these lies in your head. And first of all, you have to realize that it's a lie. And once you realize that it is a lie, or you know that it's making you feel a certain kind of way, maybe you can come to the realization that it's a lie, but then you don't know what to do about it. You don't know how to come out of it. You don't know how to change your way of thinking. So let's look at reframing the lie, reframing those thoughts. So instead of saying, I don't know what I'm doing, try, I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm doing the best that I can with what I know. Let's take the lie of someone else would be better at this. Instead, try, I'm uniquely placed for this role for this reason. Instead of embodying the lie that I failed today, try, today was hard, but I kept showing up. Honestly, I often have to remind myself that the situation that I am in with my family and the fact that my mom has Alzheimer's, this didn't take God by surprise. And when I look back over my life, I realize that God really did prepare me for this. My time in the military, my time learning new tasks, my time serving people on Air Force 2, my time doing all of the things that I did prepared me for this. Knowing how to have things in order, to be on a schedule, to do different things. It really prepared me for all of this. And I do my best not to compare my situation to anyone else's. So just remember, you're not an imposter. We're all learning. Unless you went to school for this, and this is what you were trained to do, or this is what you're being paid to do, so you have a different reason for doing it. We're growing, we're adapting, we're pivoting every day. And that's not fraudulent, it's resilience. So now we know that the imposter syndrome, in most cases, is a lie. The things that you're thinking about is a lie. We also know that we have to reframe that lie. So maybe you're asking, what can I do right now? So I'll leave you with a few tools that you can use starting today. First of all, name it. Whatever it is that you're feeling like, say it out loud. Say it out loud. I'm feeling like a fraud. Naming it disarms the lie. Once you put a name on it, it can't hide anymore. It can't keep you bound anymore because it knows that it has been called out. It has been identified. And now it either has to be true or it has to go away. And in most cases, it leaves. Next, track your wins. Keep a care journal. Write down one thing that you did well every day. Now, I'm not a journaler, but I can remember what I did good yesterday. But if you need that, please do so. Talk to someone. Maybe you found yourself in a place where you've talked so much to others that you feel like you're being a burden on them. Find somebody new. Everybody has someone that they can talk to. And if they don't, they should find someone. Find a fellow caregiver, a therapist, a support group, because that's exactly what support groups are for. Support groups are there for your support. Dementia Care Warriors is a support group in the Dallas area. By all means, reach out to them. Sharing lightens the weight. It lifts it off you. Now, I do know a man by the name of Jesus. He said, bring me all your, cast them upon me, for I care for you. I know that he has broader shoulders than I do, and he can carry the load better than I can. Next, create affirmations. Say them daily. Things like, I'm enough. I am learning. I am loving well. Pray or meditate. Reconnect with your purpose. And remember that you were called to this, not because you're perfect, but because you're present. In closing, dear caregiver, if you are asking, am I doing this right? It simply means that your heart is in the right place. You're showing up even tired. You're loving even when it's hard. You're learning even when it's messy. Now, that doesn't sound like an imposter to me. That sounds like a caregiver. And in this collective, we honor your journey, every brave, beautiful, broken, blessed step of your journey. Now, if today's episode has spoke to you, would you do me a favor? Share it with another caregiver who may be struggling. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, and by all means, follow us at the Caregivers Collective or Caregivers Collective, depend on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and encourage somebody else to listen, to follow us. So until next time, keep showing up with grace, keep trusting your heart, and never forget that you are not alone in this.